maybe it's my obsession with Julian Nagelsmann. Because when we take a step back and we talk about, you look, the technical level of Bayern is obviously extremely high. Kimmich is among the best in the world. Lewandowski is amongst the world, if not the best in the world. Muller is super smart. But when I look at most of the rest, right, we're talking Upamecano, who's just arrived. When Stanisic plays, this is a kid. Goretzka, great player, but we're not talking the second coming of, I don't know, Brian Robson or whoever you want to mention, right? In fact, the little exercise, were we to go player for player, one for one, in terms of individual quality, I'm not sure this team is that far off Manchester United. If you're talking just players, to mention a random team. They're better, but I don't know, but they're not orders of magnitude better, right? No, I'm sorry, Jules, you're shaking your head.
No, I'm just
If I go
thinking...
Varane, Upamecano, if I go Pogba, Goretzka, it's not.
Yeah.
If I go Sancho, Sané, Leroy Sané's a lot better this year.
This is the whole thing about.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. This is the team, right?
This is the collective strength that is out of this world.
Yeah, this is a better run club already before they got there. They're settled. They were already on a pathway. But it seems to me that Nagelsmann's made them better. Now, what I wonder, and I want to throw this to you, Jan, as somebody who followed Leipzig while Nagelsmann was there, I had the impression that at the beginning, you had a lot of games where they really pressed with this level of intensity and ferocity all the time. And then I felt that over his last 2 seasons at Leipzig, Nagelsmann decided to, even while still doing a lot of rotation and players in and out, which he probably can't do at Bayern to the same level.
Or doesn't need to.
Sorry?
Or doesn't need to.
Well, no, I think you do need to, because you cannot play like this every game. You cannot, because your players' legs are going to fall off, right? What I thought was impressive was Nagelsmann, I think, has been, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's kind of been on a journey where the last year and a half or 2 years at Leipzig, they pressed in moments, or they pressed in certain games against certain opponents when they needed to, or they rotated. And what I'm wondering, I think we can see some rotation from Bayern. I don't know how much more rotation we can see, because I do think that there is, while they're deeper than they were, than some people think they are, there is still a drop-off. Are we going to see maybe this team play like this when they need to, and other times perhaps take their foot off the gas, pace themselves a little bit, because they want to go till the end in all competitions, and it's still a numbers game, right? In midfield, get past the 2 starters, and it's Sabitzer and Tolisso, who's always hurt and out of contract. And you have this situation recurring in different areas. What's your take on that?
Well, first of all, I followed Nagelsmann since he was a youth team coach in Hoffenheim, and everybody spoke how good he was. But I think that the main thing with Julian Nagelsmann, I've had the pleasure to interview him deeply some weeks ago, and what impressed me was the kind of security he got, the confidence he got, but also the confidence to not be confident. When we talked about him coming into the dressing room, and he had to adjust at Bayern with all the people who won the trophies. And I think that it seems that his management, his leadership has developed. And why do I say that when we talk about his tactical moves? I think that is a lot to do with it, because he is confident to make what you're saying. Because a lot of people find that have been undefined to say that you can take on and off the gas. Because that is so hard to understand. How do these teams do that? You see that, I remember back in the days when Rosenborg Trondheim were in the Champions League, and their first half against Real Madrid, it was like a 1-1. And I said on TV, well, just in second half, Real Madrid will just speed up a bit and then they'll win the game. And people said, no, people can't do that. Well, they can. I mean, the world-class players can. The world-class team can do that. But I think it's also the thing that his way of thinking, he's adjusting to the players he got. At the end, that in Leipzig, there was not a honeymoon for him. There were a lot of criticism as well, because they didn't like all that rotation thing that he was doing, especially the strikers. The strikers need confidence. A striker need to play. A striker need to have that goal that comes from nowhere to keep your confidence. But it seems now at Bayern, he has changed a bit around that. but the intensity of the team, it's also, it seems that the Bayern team fits more to his philosophy. And his philosophy, we can say, well, it's a philosophy of Nagelsmann, but Julian Nagelsmann didn't invent the success at Bayern. He is kind of has to improve it, to develop it. And as far as I see now, I was one of the ones, I'm a neutral. I would like the Bundesliga to be tight. I would like to have other teams challenge for the title. I hope that Nagelsmann would have problem at Bayern, but it's the total opposite. He has managed, even that we are a big fan of Hansi Flick and all he's doing in and around the team, but he has improved the team on the pitch. And I think that statement against Bayer Leverkusen, that was the exam. That was the papers he need. Well, he has improved that team, and he has improved that team so that we'll take off Bayern now. I put Bayern in there also in the Champions League, because the 2 titles in Germany, they will probably win, well, you know, in Anführungszeichen, quote, easy.
We wondered when he signed, didn't he, for the money they paid, how will he adapt, can he deal with the dressing room, kind of the egos, although this is, as we said, such a collective team that maybe that dressing room is not too difficult to manage and to deal with. But for him to say after the game on yesterday, this was perfection. This first half was, for someone so demanding, who's been there 2 days, for him to say this was perfect. That first half was just perfect. To take off Alphonso Davies after 14 minutes, because you're already 5-0 up and you can just rest him after he played 100 games in the international break. It's just, I just think it's unreal. And what's next now is to not take their eyes off the ball like they did against Frankfurt, to make sure that the Frankfurt accident doesn't happen again. Is it to play like this more against, regardless the opposition, not just in the top games?
You can't play like this.
But you can. If you 4-0 up after 20, they played 30 minutes. Don't tell me they can't play 30 minutes like that every game, and then you manage the rest of the game.
They're not going to be 4-0 up after 30 minutes in every game, because, you know, we as great as they were in creating the chances, and Jan, you were a striker, correct me if I'm wrong, right? What Lewandowski did for the first goal with the movement, you can't expect Lewandowski to do it with every single chance. The Muller goal that comes off his thigh, that's dumb luck. You can't expect the team to go out there and play like this and close out games in half an hour.
Okay, but you make it sound like they played for 90 minutes at such a high intensity that they
they didn't. No. I agree with you. They dialed it down, but I'm just really curious to see how he does it. I think what he's going to do is keeping the same players against certain oppositions in certain games when they have certain fixtures coming up. And bear in mind, they're already practically qualified in the Champions League after 2 games. So maybe midweek is where we see, you know, more of your pal Choupo-Moting, the semi-final hero, we'll see more things like that going forward.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.